back. I've done an EKG, and for the first time ever, I actually had leads put. Where did she put it? She put it on my arm. Y'all text, chime in. Have y'all ever seen that? I've never had EKG leads put on my arm. And she did a little pretty circle up under my breast area. And I was like, okay. And then what I loved is that she does the EKG. She goes, oh, I like it. So you automatically know. She was good. Baby girl is good. Trust me. Can't panic. Can't panic off of what numbers say, I promise you. Numbers mean something. But, you know, God has his hands all in this. And every single time we go back, and especially once I sit down, you know, I haven't sat, I'm freaked out because I don't sit. I'm not. As a matter of fact, you should have seen the EKG table. The chair had deep cracks in it, the pleather down to the fabric, and you're not cleaning that. That's nasty. It's all sitting in there. It's time to put a cover on it or replace that. And see, a person like me will say something like, hey, we probably should, look into that. And then they don't like you. Because anytime you say something, you call somebody at work, or you call out the fact that somebody hasn't done their job. And, and all I care about is me. I don't want to be sitting in stuff that, because what I'm wearing, no, I don't know if I did a good job, Penny. I lay in a bed up there. So it's not, let me change my clothes, and no, it's none of that. So, I don't want to take something from down here up there that I'm now laying in for 4+ hours, and now I've come here and gotten something that I didn't come with. And that's always my goal, is never to leave any medical provider with something I did not come with. That's my absolute goal. And the more that you keep me in an emergent situation around people who are sick and having God knows what, unfortunately today, there aren't any unidentifiable coughs going on. You'll see a second mask get put on as soon as that happens. And, but, it's ridiculous. Simply because I care about my patient care. I care about this, head to toe. I care. And I have to do my job, and you should always do yours. And remember, you're on payroll. This is my life. There's a difference. And everybody that's on payroll isn't doing their job correctly. And you all know that. Better medical providers. If you don't, shocking newsflash. Not everybody is equal. You don't all do your job. You don't all follow protocol. So, for those of you that do, hats off. Like I told the provider earlier, she wanted to do it because my heart rate was elevated. I said, I don't mind doing that. And she's like, well, you can decline it. I said, no. I said, but what I don't like is the inconsistency amongst you providers. Because if you look, my heart rate was higher than what it was today, a few weeks back. And they did nothing. No EKG, no sending you to the back, none of that. But then you had two providers, week before last, week of the 12th, when I came in on the 12th, and it was elevated. And this particular provider actually was like, is your heart rate always elevated? And I was like, it can be. I said, she calms down. And he goes, well, you know what? I want to send you to the back so we can take a look at it. Well, in my other video, like I said, I know what that means, and it creates anxiety because now it's longer, I'm here, and it's more pain that's going to be inflicted. And fortunately, it worked in my favor. I had a really cool nurse that was just like, this is what we're going to do if you're okay with it. And then we'll go for, the line and all of that. And exactly what she said. And it was anxiety. It creeped in. I basically was having an anxiety attack on the way back. So today I don't feel it. We did the AKG and we walked back over here. It looks pretty. She actually said, I said, you sound like she said, I can't diagnose. I said, oh, I didn't. I said, you sound like you were just like in an Instagram post. And she goes, here, if you can put this on Instagram if you want. I said, yeah, let me take a picture of it. And she never gave it to me to take a picture, so. But I probably can get it. It looked great. She was looking good. She's doing what she's supposed to do. Stop stressing her out. And unfortunately, there's an element of stress here that only God, that's all stress, to be honest, that only God can control. And so I have to remind myself, I have to tell myself, and I have to just, say, okay, everybody doesn't want to hear what's wrong, ever, And it's not like I'm like, oh, this is wrong, that's wrong, that's wrong. Ain't nobody said about the cleanliness and all that. We ain't said nothing. You know what I'm saying? So it's not everything. It's just the things that affect me, immediately affect me, directly affect me. And I think everybody should do that. Everybody, you should, if you have to educate yourself, take the classes, get educated. It's worth it. You know, I would highly suggest that people take medical terminology, you know, a beginner's course, just so you can break down some of what they're telling you. When they say myo, you know, okay, they're talking about heart, you know, and, you know, just certain things that just can help you kind of understand what's going on, because they are then coming to you and they'll often give you choices. And how can you make a choice if you don't really know what the effect is, or what, you know, what the decisions are, or what the choices are? You know, then you say, okay, whatever you decide. Now, depending on the choices for me, and after, you know, thinking them through and consulting others, then yeah, I might come back and I might literally say, whatever you decide, you know. But that hasn't been the case always. There's been some cases in nephrology where I said, hold up, wait, stop. No, we're not going to double the med. Give me a minute. You know, the labs are like puzzles, you know. And, you know, when you feel like, you know, you've been doing what you're supposed to be doing, there's nothing wrong with having them pause. You know, they don't expect you to ever say that, but I've done that multiple times, and it stopped me from having my thyroid snatched out and putting a piece in my arm from a center that had high percentage of doing that for individuals, doing that particular procedure for people. I thought it was absolutely appalling. And I would hear them tell the patients, oh yeah, we need to go ahead and schedule it, pull this out, whatever. I made them wait. I was like, let me do what I can do. And lo and behold, months later, she's in range, and had been for a while. And then early January, they wanted to double the medication, but, you know, we had a bunch going on. In December, we had 2 stents that had to be placed, and, you know, it was pretty rough. And, you know, and so I said, you know what? No, wait. I'm not doubling that medication, because that medication, when I first took it, made me feel some kind of way. And I said, I can't take that. And one of the side effects is seizures. And so I'm like, So we didn't take it for a while. Then we did take it. We slowly took it. And we made sure we had people with me when it was administered and all of that. And we took the, you know, minimum dose, and it was fine. Now you want to double that? No, I don't know about doubling anything like that. No, give it a minute. You know, it wasn't even like it was double the range or anything like that. It was out of range, but not double. Not enough for me to double meds. Like, let's just see. And got one, you know, boy, was that a good call. Then we go into February, and February was a disaster. And then it went downhill from there. So it was already going downhill, but it just went rapidly downhill from there. And the things that happened, the things that they did. So this is what it's like. And, you know, for those of you that even think it's funny, or even say, you know, I'm glad my ER doesn't do dialysis. I just hope you never find yourself in a situation where you need any type of emergency life-saving treatments, or life-saving treatments, period, be it emergency or not. Because then you too are welcome to my world. No, it doesn't have to just be dialysis, you know. But people should care. You know, you should care if you go into healthcare, and you should care if you're a patient. No one's excusing being rude or mean, either way. You guys are quick to say the patient's mean, the patient's rude, but what are you? When someone comes into a center at 5-something in the morning, and the first thing you say is, who let you back here? Like, I've ever picked a lock in my life, or like I opened, my DNA was never on any of their doors. I turned around and used my back when it came time for that. Just for a moment, I gotta go. My friend is here. Look at that. See, everybody, am I mean?
No.
Am I rude? Am I nasty? You sure? You sure I'm not to put on a facade? I think you've seen me enough to know, right?
Exactly. I already know.
Do you think I should be blacklisted? Do you think I should not be able to go to any dialysis center in the world?
No.
Don't I have insurance? Yeah, because I'm mean, I'm rude and abusive. I had to have slapped someone, is what everybody's saying. Who did you slap? It's funny. I know. I'm going to go. I'm on live. Do you mind doing a cameo? It's not a live, it's a video. You want to be on it? Yes or no? You're not on it, but...
No, because I don't want to.
Okay. I don't care. They ain't going to say that. I'm just going to let you come over with your face in here. You don't have to. You can put your hand in there. Raise your hand. See? It's a real person. All right. Gotta go.